Okay, I'm gonna yap about some theory stuff for a second. Okay, so one of the reasons why it takes so long for me to write some of the stuff that I conceptualize is because we had like situations like this that arise where I've got like this 3/16 tied together figure, so it's like a dotted eighth thing. So eighth plus 16th, then dotted eighth, 16th plus eighth, and then it ends kind of rounded off with this two eighth note or 2/16ths that combine to an eighth right here. Now that is in contrast to the 5/7 figure that I got kind of going on down here, right? So here, I'll just kind of play it for a second real quick. So right, actually here, you can't see the rest of it. Hold on. There we go. So here. Right, so we've got like the difference between these two real quick. So, all right, think about it like this. So 1/8 note is 12.5% of a measure, right? And we only have this first one that's taking up part of the spot within that. So that is 12.5%. 7 times 12.5, which is the remainder of the measure, is 87.5%. Now I've already done a little bit of the math over here, but let me clear that out. So you got 87.5%. And if you divide this by this 5/7 figure that I've got going on over here, right? So 5 notes over the span of 7, so 87.5 divided by 5 is going to be 17.5, right? And then 17.5 divided by 12.5 is going to end up being 1.4 or 140% of a single eighth note, right? So 17.5 divided by 12.5, again, it's going to be 1.4 or 140% of the length of an eighth note. But if you have a dotted eighth note, right, like we have here, right, that's 150% or 1.5 times the length of an eighth note, right? So it really doesn't like it doesn't matter all that much unless you're paying attention to like how it actually affects the sound, right? If you listen to this with the kick in place right here, you can tell how much closer this kick is to the snare. Here, you can hear them almost like flamming right here, right? Where if you take it out, it's a little bit less dramatic. But it does still feel a little bit off kilter with this one. Now, if I just kind of brute force this for a second and make it into, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take that one out eventually, but I have, for the sake of the bit, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. I'm gonna take this one out, and then now it just sounds a lot more like square, I guess. Right, and then if I pair it with this up here, oops, hold on. If I pair it with this one, it just makes it more digestible. So we've got the 140% of the eighth note value versus the 150% of the eighth note value rounded out by the 100%, right? So that that 10% for each of these dotted eighth kind of figures ends up being essentially subtracted from this last one, right? If they were all 140%, it'd be evenly distributed, but here, these each have an extra 10% added onto them. Now, this is all to say that it would be insane to ask anybody to like learn this and actually play it. So, essentially, I just gotta chill out and yeah, just not be overly complex with how I notate things, even though this is how I originally conceptualized it and how it kind of feels in my head.